Thanks, Nikki, for the introduction and also for inviting me here to BeerCon4. Also thanks, Dan, because he actually was the one who said, yes, please apply for it. So, yeah, the talk is named Three-Headed Monkey and How He's Slowing Down Your Career. Actually, this talk was inspired by a TED talk I've heard some time ago. It was called Inside the Mind of a Master Procrastinator by Tim Urban. Did you, whom of you have already heard this TED talk? Yeah? It's quite funny. I absolutely would suggest that you look into it. It's about someone who's procrastinating, and he has pictured a monkey inside his mind who is going to take the steering wheel from him, and he has problems taking that steering wheel from the monkey. So, and also the three-headed monkey. Do you know from what game it is? It's from The Secret of Monkey Island. So that's why I chose this one. So, something about me, I'm 44 years old. I've studied economics and information systems. I'm an InfoSec and privacy professional with more than 20 years of experience. As Nikki already said, I'm the owner of 3 companies. I have a few certs as well. I'm an auditor. I'm also doing pen testing. And I'm an instructor, and from that on, I'm sharing some of my experiences I have had as an instructor with my students, and that's also the main theme for my presentation here. And I'm also having a strong interest in studying human behavior, and especially helping people to be more successful in what they do. You may have come to some place called Someday I'll. It's a very nice place because someday I'll do that when I have more time. Someday I'll get that cert, or someday I'll do that exam. Well, the background is now that we all have a fear sometimes of failing. One example, I once had this man coming to me. He had taken a hacking course, but he didn't book the certification exam right after it. And he said he wanted to prepare a bit more, and yeah, he had to choose some kind of test center, had to choose a location for that. Well, and then something else came into the timeline. And by now, actually, he felt not well prepared, or then he was on holiday, and to my knowledge, his exam voucher has now expired, right? And on another occasion, there was this woman who was on one of my hacking courses, and she was often mocked by her colleagues, saying, okay, you want to try to get in the cybersecurity field, you are not good enough, and then she was not so confident with herself. And one evening, after the course, she talked to me about her situation, and she asked me, Bjoern, what do you think? Am I ready for the exam? And I said, yes, definitely. Take that on Friday. And what shall I say? She passed. So, actually, and she felt very relieved. And apart from that, regarding her nasty colleagues, the biggest revenge is massive success. So here we have the three-headed monkey, which is actually an extension to the original TED talk, from Tim Urban. Well, he had this monkey inside his mind, who he called the instant gratification monkey. Meaning he would be the monkey would be making him to do what was actually fun to do. But in his talk, he didn't get too deep into the underlying reasons for procrastination. And I tried to pick up on that one thought, and and there was the three-headed monkey. And we have the first monkey is the fearful. Actually, the font is a bit off, but actually you will get the point. Then we have the perfectionist, and we have the procrastinator. We'll all come back to these during the presentation. Now, let's make a quick thought experiment, right? Let's imagine that this stage is some kind of board which is lying on the ground. Okay? And our goal is to cross this board. Now, this is quite wide, this is quite thick, and well, we can walk over the board, we can even run over the board, I can jump or dance over the board, right? I think we all agree this is a very simple task. Now, let's assume that this board is not lying on the ground, but it is lying between two skyscrapers. And these skyscrapers are so high that there are clouds beneath it, and you can't even see through the clouds. You can't see what's beneath it. So it's still the same board. Would you walk over it? Yeah, probably not. Why not? It's the same board. And you can't see beneath it. You can't see what's beneath it. Yeah? So you are paralyzed. Why is that? Because the perceived consequences of falling off the board feel much more severe. And this leads us to the first monkey, which is the fearful. Fear is a very interesting emotion. You can only have this emotion, you can only have fear about something which has not yet happened. If it has already happened, you can be sad about it, angry about it, but you cannot fear it anymore because it has already happened. And and to give you another example of this, if I have a fear of heights, really. Well, not this one, but let's assume this is the board lying on the skyscrapers. So, if I normally have so much fear, I would not walk till the edge. But now Dan comes on and says, "Hey, Björn!" and I'm standing there. So I'm not longer afraid of standing on the edge. I'm now afraid of falling. And after that, Dan comes again and says, "Hey!" And then I'm falling really down. And then I'm no longer afraid of falling. I'm now afraid of landing. Right? So, and this actually, what we want now is to reach our goal here. The goal could be passing an exam or get a certificate. It could even be delivering a proposal for a project or a proposal for a customer or applying for a new job. And this goes on, and we are paralyzed at that point. Right? We're coming back to the situation in a moment. So here we are back with our three monkeys, and they are now making a self-talk in your head. They are making chatter. The first one says, "Oh, this scares me." And the second one is, "Well, I'm not so sure I am good enough, or whether this job is really for me, or whether I'm ready to take that exam." You see the picture, you see the picture there. And then let's better watch another episode of XYZ on Netflix. Yeah, so this is fun and easy to do. So he then comes up with a solution for this. And he has a solution of procrastinating. So, talking about procrastination, so why do we procrastinate? Actually, we are caring about how other people and how we feel about ourselves in all kinds of situations. We want to prevent some kind of feeling that we are not as good, as intelligent, as attractive, etc., as other people. And here I have some warning signs which may mean that you are procrastinating, because sometimes we are not really realizing it. Here we can see again that fear of making mistake or fear of failure is a central element here. All these signs may also have a deeper root cause in our history, like about how our parents were put up expectations on school grades, etc. So this is something we all do, but to the intensity to how we do that is maybe put into the root causes of our history. In the end, we procrastinate because it's also rewarding, right? So, and that's why we fall back to, for example, passively watching TV. Why that? Because it's a mistake-free activity. I cannot do anything wrong sitting in front of the TV, but it's taken away our precious time. And so we may also become addicted to procrastination, and it's a way of dealing with anxiety about difficult tasks. So we sometimes also become overwhelmed by how a project is going on. We don't know how to start. We don't know what the next step is. That's why also a way of dealing with it is breaking a complex project into more simple tasks or more simple steps, and then say, what is the next step what should do to get out of this paralysis? And then the perfectionist comes into play, the perfectionist monkey, because he's also saying something. Oh, okay, you are not good enough, right? And we have 3 dimensions here. The first one is context. Yeah? It is not the right time, it's not the right location, or we feel like we don't have the right resources for it. Then we have quality, which means in our perception it has to be of a very high standard, or even it has to be flawless, which is ridiculous, right? Nothing is really flawless if you think about that. Or we have quantity. We have some kind of number threshold which we have set up for us, making such and such number of publications, yeah? Having such and such number of certificates. We feel like we need to have a very large goal size in the front. So perfectionism also has a very toxic effect. In the short term, you are maybe not aware of it, but it still makes you suffer subconsciously. But it's something which is holding on for a longer period of time, then it may lead to extensive self-criticism. It is an underlying cause also in some cases for depression, right? So on Monday, I don't know whether you know it, last Monday, what was it? Mental Health Day. So I'm standing here, I'm not a psychotherapist, right? I'm interested in this subject. If you have these kinds of problems, please see someone who can help you there. And also imposter syndrome can be linked to this, right? This is also some trait of perfectionist. And now, this is running into a cycle. Because I'm a perfectionist, I want to qualify all these elements here, and I have a fear of failure, and this is an underlying point here. So, and then we procrastinate because we don't want to look bad. Then we're sitting on the couch, turning off the TV at some time, 3 hours into the day, and then we self-criticize us. And we still have some more anxiety, and it may turn into depression there. We lose much of our self-confidence again, and then the whole cycle starts again and again and again. And the perfectionist component is making it even worse. right? So, okay, so why then in the end do we sometimes reach our goals after all? Well, there has to be an element which puts you under more severe consequences than not finishing your project. And these are deadlines, right? Imagine you are standing on a board and someone has set a big fire to one end. The board is still stable, but if you stay at that end, you will either burn or the board will crash and you will fall down anyway, right? In that situation, a deadline is created and you will cross the board no matter what. Okay? Now, how can we use that information to our advantage? I mean, if you have crossed the board now, according to our project, what would be the result? What quality of the result would be of the project here? Not a good one. Not a good one, because we have done that. We have reached the goal, but it was not well done. It's even worse there. So let's look at some strategies to get us out of that paralyzed state now. So there are some helpful questions to ask yourself if you are in that situation. The first is, what's the worst thing that could happen to me? Really be honest about this one. Would it be some kind of reputation loss? Would it be some kind of, someone being unhappy with you? Or may it lead to the loss of life? No, I don't think so. Because you are not standing really on top of the board on the skyscrapers. So, what's the worst thing that could happen? Probably would be that the proposal for the customer gets rejected. This happens all the time. It does not have to be something which is in connection with your proposal. It could be some completely other thing. So how likely is this going to happen? This is a sub-question to this one. And can I recover from it? Yes, you can always recover from it. So, coming back to the students asking me, am I ready for the exam? Say that. Am I ready for the exam? They come up with a question, say, what if I fail the exam actually? I say, I have a solution for this as well. If for some reason you have failed the exam, you will take it again as soon as possible. And these people have I have very high pass rates, about between 80 and 90%. Some fail. It's just like that. So, and if they if they try the second attempt on the exam, they have passed. And also, we have to ask another question, so we don't think negatively, what's the best thing that can happen to you? And how likely is this going to happen? Well, maybe the customer has accepted your proposal, or you have passed the exam. So, and how nice would that be? Just think in the future, right? And then think, what's most likely to happen? Well, this depends on the situation there. And the next one I've got actually from a book which is called Being an Imperfectionist. Because imperfection is natural and perfectionism is artificial. We all have flaws. So, circumstantial thinkers are more focused on problems. Winners focus on the process. This can even help us if we are paralyzed, focusing on the process. Get the ball rolling. Get the first step, thinking about what is the next logical step for me to take. So, prioritize doing over not doing well. Just get into action. Break down your difficult tasks into into small steps. Push the needle forward every day. We are making a habit out of that one. How long do you think it takes to form a habit? Does anyone know? 21 days. So if you perform something all day, every day, for 21 days, it becomes a habit. After 90 days, it becomes part of your lifestyle. You can't get on without it. So push the needle forward every day. So effort over perfection. Well, just do something, work on your project. Be it a certification, something like that. Use the Pomodoro technique. Are you familiar with the Pomodoro technique? Very simple. Take a kitchen timer, put that onto 25 minutes, and then work for these 25 minutes straight. Then, after that rings, you put down everything, and then you take a 5-minute break, and then you take another Pomodoro. That's a Pomodoro technique, actually. This could be working. For some it works. For some take 25 minutes, some take 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. Take your time there. And then, form good habits. So always tell yourself, I'm going to do my best and not care about how it turns out. So if you have done your best, you have done it actually. And this is what's counting, or what should be counting. So, again, fears are leading to procrastination, and perfectionism is making things worse. And the three-headed monkey here is trying to talk you into the easy, fun way, and trying to get out of your problems, or get away from your problems, but also from getting away from achieving your goals, whatever that might be. So you have to change your mindset as well, your inner talk. Do not think about when do I have to get that job done. Think about when can I get to work on that job again. I'm curious, what is the next logical step? Push the needle forward every day. There's one thing which is called the 1% rule. So we say we would like to do 1% every day to reach our goal. Example, if I'm preparing for a certification, I may have to read a book. This book has about 300 pages. And then I divide this one into these 1% thing. Yeah? And then say, okay, if I'm doing 1% every day, this would be about three pages. Can you read 3 pages of a day? Yeah. So this is very easy, right? And if you can do more, even better. Sometimes you just have to get rolling. You just have to get the ball rolling. Have to get into the flow, and then you continue on. This is the magic behind that. It tends to continue. So in reality, we are all flawed. Otherwise, success would be normal. Yeah. So, thanks for attending my talk. Do we have any questions? Do we have time for questions? Yeah, perfect. Everything's answered. Okay, I'm still here. If you want to, you can connect to me. I've also put up here a reference list on the books and the speech from Tim Urban, which I've mentioned. I really would advise you to take a look into that one as well. Then, thank you very much, and enjoy the conference.